Hi everyone, the video that all of you have been waiting for is finally here, and you guessed it, we are talking about the Shelby GT350 engine. I know many of you have been asking me for an update and asking me questions about it. So in today's video, I'll give you guys an update and also an outline on what's to come with the engine and getting it back together. But before I discuss that, I did want to show you two things that I didn't show you in the previous videos that I'm sure you guys will find interesting. So the first part that I wanted to show you is the oil pump and the gears. So I decided to open it just to see if there's any damage, and you'd guys be surprised by what I found. So starting with the outer one, now there's scratches everywhere. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see every single scratch, just because depending on how the light reflects, then you'll be able to see this, but it's pretty much everywhere here. Now let me show you something else that I found here. So if you guys can see where my thumb is pointing, you can see that there's a piece that came off from the inner part of the outer gear. Now that I really don't think it's due to any metal debris. I think that is actually a chunk of the gear that came off. And I know that many of you have mentioned to me that I should replace these gears because they're just not strong. Now moving on to the inner gear, this has damage as well. So there's scratches everywhere. And then I think this is once again caused by all that debris from the piston. And then this is something very interesting as well. So we go here to the top land, and if I pass my nail through this, I could feel scoring, and this is on every single one of them. So I'm pretty sure that was all due to the piston, but this chunk that was taken from the inside of the outer gear, I'm pretty sure that just has to do with the gear. And now let me show you this part here inside the oil pump. Now here I could really feel there's just some scoring as well. There's some scratches. I'm not sure if you guys can really see that, but there is damage here. So I'm very glad that I decided to open this just to further inspect. So I mean, pretty interesting. But now that you guys saw that, I did want to show you another part. So here's the second part that I wanted to show you. So this is the oil filter. Now I have it here under this light just so I can try to show you, at least hopefully that the camera is capturing what I see here. So there's tons of metal deposits here. It's just very sparkly. Now, at least from what I'm seeing on camera, I see that it does show some sparkles, but here in person, it's just filled. It looks like someone just poured glitter all inside here. Now let me try to open it so you guys can see. So I think there you probably have like the best view of that. So it's everywhere. So now after seeing this, the oil filter did do its job. It just wasn't enough. Obviously it went to a further and bigger issue, but here's the proof with after that piston just decided, to just blow. I was just thinking to myself, you know what? After every single track day, I think I'm just going to include a check the oil filter. I mean, it doesn't cost me anything other than time, just to check the oil filter and then see if there's any metal debris here. And this is just something that I'll add now to my post-track maintenance. With that being said, and you guys seeing this damage, let's move on to the block and giving you an update on it. So you're probably wondering, why is my block on the floor? But trust me, I have a pretty good reason for that, because the block and I have been traveling around. We've been going to local shops just because I wanted to take it and get a professional opinion on whether this can be saved or not. Even though the first shop kind of did let me down a little bit, because I mean, the guy saw it, he gave it a quick glance while eating a sandwich, and he told me, nope, this can't be saved. But he didn't even take the time to really inspect it and look into the cylinder walls, and he just said, nope, it can't be saved, you're gonna need a new block. So I mean, I told him, you didn't even fully look in it, and you don't even know what car this engine came from. So he asked me, I told him it came from a Mustang, from a GT350, and he said, well, I mean, that's no problem, you need a new block and you can just go to the junkyard and find a block there. So on to the next shop. So the good news is that the other shops that I went to, they did tell me that this can be saved. So just to give you a quick process on what they would do to the block, they would start off by washing and scrubbing the block. Then they would have to bore the cylinder walls. Then they would install the sleeves by pressing them and then just decking the block. And all of that, which I'm oversimplifying, comes out to like around $3,100. I mean, both shops were pretty much within like a couple $100s off, which at the end of the day, that comes out being a few $100s more than getting a new block, which I was torn at first. I didn't know if I wanted to keep this one or get a new block, but I've decided that even though the other one is a little bit less expensive, I think I'm just going to keep this one and reinforce it, because I mean, I might get that new block and it might turn out to be the best block ever, have zero issues, but honestly, after everything that I've gone through, I really do not want to take that chance. I don't want to take that risk, so I'm deciding to keep this block and reinforce it. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the parts that I plan to reuse and not to reuse. So like I said, they will be sleeving the block, and those are going to be Darton sleeves. Now, in regards to the crankshaft, I will be using the same one, but I will be taking it to the same shop, and they'll be taking care of it and doing whatever it is that they need to do to that. Now, coming here to all of the parts, all of this is going to be gone. I don't plan on reusing anything except the main cap. So I'm still going to be using these same main caps. Now, the main bearings and rod bearings are going to be King bearings. The pistons are going to be forged Moly pistons. The rods are going to be Manley. I'm still not sure if they're going to be H or I. I'm still deciding on that, but there's not really much of a price difference, but those are going to be Manley. Now the rings are going to be from Total Seal. And in regards to the bolts, so main cap bolts, end cap bolts, the side bolts for the block, all of those are going to be discarded, and I will be using APR bolts. So all of this comes out to roughly around $3,200. So I think that's pretty much it for everything that's going to go in the short block. So let's move on to the head. Before I speak about the head, I took the piston to the shops because I wanted to get an opinion on what they thought caused this issue. Now, after they looked at it, they said that this was absolutely heat related, which makes sense because I was tracking in the middle of the summer, and summers here in Arizona are just brutal. And they don't think it was tune related because they asked me, did this happen as soon as you got tuned or when? So I told them, nope, I was tuned for 8 months, never had an issue until this day. So they don't think it was a tune, and they don't think it got lean either. What they think happened was that the cylinder was running too hot, and it was just trying to overcompensate, dumping too much fuel, trying to cool it down, and therefore building up too much pressure, causing pre-detonation. Then over time, this ring was expanding, and then that's what caused the scoring on the wall of that cylinder until it just broke, and then causing oil to get into the combustion chamber, then coating the spark plug, and then getting the misfires. So this didn't happen all at once. It happened over time, which makes sense again because as soon as I got the code, then I went back on the track, and then I went back another day to the track. So it was just so many things happening until it was eventually too late, and here we are. Now, in regards to the head, I have good news. They said that this can be saved as well, and the damage here on the combustion side looks a lot worse than what it actually is. They said this is pretty much just all cosmetic. So they said that the process for the head would be washing it, then welding this side up here. Then in regards to the seat, they said that they looked fine. That's also just pretty much cosmetic. They would just have to weld here along the edge. Then they would just have to file these metal shavings down and then surface the block side of the head and then wash it once again. So for all of this, it comes out to around $300, which is not bad, but I mean, I'm pretty happy that I don't need to get a new one and I can reuse this again. Now getting to the parts that make up the Valvetrain, let's start here. So I don't plan on reusing either of these parts except for the lashes. I have them here soaking in oil ever since I've removed them. All of this will be replaced with OEM parts. The only thing that I'm thinking is that I may replace the valve springs with pack ones, but still not sure on that. Either way, none of this is going to be reused. But that's it for this section. Moving on here, so starting with the cams. So I'm 80% sure I won't be reusing this. There is another shop that they make aftermarket GT350 cams, and they're designed to just work with the stock system. I just need to get a little bit more information on them before I make my decision, but I'm almost there. They are a little bit pricey, but I honestly think it's worth it. So most likely I won't be reusing them, but still not sure yet. So I won't be reusing the rollers or the cam caps, but I will be replacing them with OEM ones. And these bolts, as well as the head bolts, I'll be tossing them away and replacing them with ARP bolts. These cam phasers, I will be reusing the same ones. Now these timing chains, I won't be reusing those, but I do plan on getting OEM ones. So that's pretty much it for that. And that comes to a rough total of about $3,800. And there you have it, guys. So the rough estimate for all of those parts is around $10,000. It may be a little bit more, but I'm just going to round it to $10,000. Now, the only thing that I don't know yet, the only cost that I'm unsure about, and I can't put an exact number to that, is what it'll cost the shop for a pre-assembly. So mock building the engine, balancing, getting the correct clearances and tolerances, and then providing me with the blueprint. So then I can check the clearances again and then assemble the entire engine. I'm still talking to some shops. I'm still in that whole back and forth because I'm still trying to narrow it down to what would be the exact figure. And I'm still trying to figure out on those parts that I'm unsure about. So just wanted to let you guys know and give you this update, to give you kind of like this rough outline and let you know that this has so many pieces to this project and this isn't going to happen overnight. There's so many things that I honestly just want to get it right the first time. Now, I didn't go over the cost over some other parts, like some accessories like the gaskets, some one-time use bolts. That isn't a big cost, but it still adds to it. And in regards to that oil pump that I showed you at the beginning of the video, I do plan on replacing that as well as the oil pan. So I plan on replacing those both with the ones that come on the GT500. Now for that entire set, for the oil pump and the oil pan, it costs around $700. And I did see Honey Badger install it on his Shelby GT350, and it seems to be a better option. So I plan on using that instead of just going back with the Shelby GT350. So that is another cost as well. And also keep in mind that I still do have other projects that I'm currently working on. I have the Hellcat build, I have tons of parts that I still need to install on my Camaro. So just want to let you know that I'm still working on this. It's kind of like I'm working on this in the background, but I also have other priorities that I still need to work on. So the money is just going to be distributed between the Shelby project, between the Hellcat, between the Camaro, and then any other things that come up. Now, throughout other videos, I will give you more updates. So whether I got some new parts, whether the status of the block, I will provide you these updates. So I will keep you informed. I'll keep you in the loop. I just know that so many of you wanted this update. I know it did take some time, but you can see that there's many different things that are out of my control. Even once I have all of these parts and then I take them and the shop has it, if the shop takes a month, then the shop takes a month. I'd rather them take a little bit longer, get everything done right, than me trying to rush everything and then I have to go through this again. This is a huge project. It's a bit pricey, so I just really want to get it right the first time, and still working on the other projects. So I will keep you guys in the loop. I will not forget about you guys. So the next GT350 engine update video will be once I have all of the parts and I'm ready to assemble everything together. And I am sorry that I took so long to giving you guys an update, but I really hope that this video answered most of your questions. But if you do have any additional questions, please leave them in the comments down below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.